Hi, this is Kendra from Pencil and Pigment, and this is my weekly plan with me video. So I'm going to get started. The playlist on how I made this planner and the supplies I'm using will be linked in the description box below in case you're curious and want to check stuff out. I'm going to go ahead and put in everything I drew this past week, starting backwards, along with the videos I did. So I did a draw with me, which is lots of fun if you're into drawing with other folks. And then this was on the 11th, it was the week 32 video. Oh my gosh, go gadget eyeballs. I need my glasses. Okay, we're good. We're good now. All right. Okay, so yesterday I drew a Chinook, which is also a fish. It's a salmon. It's also a type of helicopter. A lot of things have that name. I did not know. Hungarian Vizsla. This is the spelling. You know, I have trouble spelling English. Trying to spell other languages is, it's laughable. The Havanese, those are cute little guys. Bavarian mountain hound, those are really pretty. Bavarian, yeah. Spelling isn't my jam. I don't know why I'm so bad at it, but I am. I mean, well, Hoverwort. Those have really, like, longer fur. That's very, very cute. Okay, and then English setter. And then the other one was an English pointer. So, all the doggos, and I'm just gonna keep on keeping on with them. And that's what I did this past week, which is awesome. And then in this book, I already measured out my dividing line. Getting ready for September, though half of September is still gonna be August, so that's okay. This was all the pink. So we did striped animals, and I thought, you know what would be fun? If my nails were clean from gardening. No, I thought would be fun was if I did flying animals for the next 2 weeks in using mediums in a weird way. So let's do that. And I'm going to write all the things I did. How have I been doing my notes? Okay, all right. So I did 7 dog drawings. And the other thing I need to start doing is like background design research. So drawing 50 dogs, I either get really weird with the dogs or I start branching out and doing some more fun things in the background. And I have, what do I have? The complete pattern directory. I'll throw a picture of that book up. And so I need to go through there and tab some things I think might work and be fun for my dog drawing challenge. So background research. Something I need to do for my illustrations. Otherwise, they're going to get really boring and I'm going to get really bored, and we don't want me really bored. So, yeah, underwhelmed isn't a good place to be. Okay, week 32 video. And this was a draw with me / story time video. Okay, so let me zoom in and I'll show you what we're gonna do. Okay, and I remembered to hit play this time. We're doing good. Okay, so I have my date here. This is the warm gray Copic multi-liner. So for 1 week at a time, and I'm just doing like a week review. And I chose the gallon leather because there's no lines. So the Hobonichi, the Midori Hibino, all of those have lots of grids and graphs, which is really great for bullet journaling and lists and how you go to plan. It goes well with certain types of plans, but I do a lot more drawing in mine, and so I don't need the grids and the graphs because I don't use them. If I have uneven eyes and things are unsymmetrical, then we're just gonna embrace it. So this is the Derwent XL graphite, and they're not joking about the XL. So they're big. They're big and they're chunky, and so these would be really, really good for things A4, which is Comparable, but not exactly the same to a standard US size piece of paper, or larger. Like these are really big, chunky sticks. So look at the size of my thumb. Look at the graph. It's just a big stick. And so I don't work with things this big. And this is definitely one of the purchases I made where I was like, months later, you know, that wasn't the smartest purchase choice. I don't work with things this size. And while it looked really cool and is really cool, this is a perfect example of just because it is really cool, doesn't mean I should own it and have it. So what I've been doing is figuring out ways to use these for smaller pieces and smaller bits and creating more fine-tuned details, which are the things I like. So how to keep this on the page so you can see exactly what I'm doing and there's no mystery here. Things that fly. And you're like, birds, insects. Sure, we'll get there, but I'm not doing a bird or an insect this week. So I am just dipping my brush in the water, and then I am going and pulling the pigment directly off of this huge block and coating my brush with it. And that is how I use these. I paint the pigment on. I'm able to get a fine-tuned detail. I'm able to get all the things. The other thing I have is when I've done that, I use like a really cheapy 99-cent palette, watercolor palette, and I can have varying value ranges. So some of these are lighter, some of these are darker, and I can work monochromatically and really create something fun with these blocks in a space that's really tiny when these blocks are really huge. So something that flies. Do you know what it is already? Well, you'll probably looked at the, oh hex, you looked at the picture. I try to show exactly what is in my video on the front cover of the videos. So there really is no surprise there, and you can see if that's something you were interested in watching someone create or not. This is a gray-faced flying fox. You're like, but he's blue. I know, blue's my favorite color, so there's no stopping me. And I think this is Prussian blue. I don't know. One of these is straight up just graphite, like pencil graphite, which is cool. There are liquid graphites. There are tons of different ways you can apply graphite on. If you are somebody who suffers from like hand cramps, arthritis, carpal tunnel, and drawing and holding pencils or things like that can be really difficult. You know, they make like pencil holders, and some of those are more comfy than others for holding pencils and stuff. But if you hold a paintbrush differently, and you have a more relaxing time with the paintbrush, but you want to get into sketching and doing like warm-up exercises or some of those things, really do consider like liquid graphite. I know they make it in a tube. So they make tinted graphite in tubes from different companies. There's one that, oh gosh, it's called Cherry something. I'll throw up a picture if I can find it. And it looks really, really pretty. It's like a tinted graphite, but there's regular graphite too that comes in like a tin. If that's something you really want to delve into and try for your hands, because that's something that, like, you know, artists and creators don't talk a lot about, is how our hands are doing. Like, yeah, I create and I draw every day, but some days my hands hurt. Like, I've been in the garden, I've been doing my work, my chores, the things around my house, and my hands are tired. And so sometimes holding on to something bigger and chunkier is more helpful. Sometimes using just a different medium because I hold it differently than I do pens. I'm like, I press down hard with pens, and that's a me issue. I've always been heavy-handed like that. It doesn't help anybody out. I'm not doing myself any long-term favors, which is why I started doing like the self-hand massages. I have, I'll throw it up. This is sunflower oil, and I just use it as like a carrier oil and just massage it into my hands at night. I'm 45. I'm 45 years old. The hand cramps are legitimate, so I really try and take care of, not just like cleaning out my brushes and taking care of my supplies that way. I try taking care of my hands. I don't do the rock climbing, the bouldering, those things like that anymore. I don't do any of that stuff because it's just too hard on my hands, and then to expect them to continue to work when I draw for like an hour every day is just unrealistic expectations. So there are things I don't do anymore because they're just too tough on my hands. So, things to think about long term when creating, or age or lifestyle. Some of us have wild lifestyles. Like maybe you have hobbies that are like really unique with your hands and stuff. And it's kind of hard not to have a hobby where you use your hands a lot. So these are just things to think about. I need a lighter gray, lighter blue here for the face. There we go. They're so cute, and I like their little noses, and I like that they hang. I love bats. I love bats. We have a lot of bats. We have a lot of bats in our backyard because of our trees, because of our forest. When we first moved here and we bought this house, our daughter was like, "Look at the black butterflies." And we were like, "Oh no, honey. Those aren't butterflies." It was really cute. So we've been real good. We've never had one trapped in our house. We know a large quantity of people that have had bats fly into their home and just get trapped in a room. We've never had that happen. So knock on wood, that never does happen. I'm not looking forward to that. We have had a bird fly into our house though. So it's always something when you live like in the wilds. Yep. It's just sometimes it's like that. So that's okay. Just be really, really careful. We've had deer come to our front door. That's not uncommon. Not so much our back door. Our back door was mostly like raccoons, skunks, running around with shenanigans, looking for snacks, looking for any treats or something our dog has left in the yard. The bear goes through our backyard. The bear goes through our backyard and grabs our trash can. Sometimes he drags our trash can in our front yard, down the street. We have to go hiking around and find all our trash and put it back in the trash can. I wouldn't trade it for anything. I know it sounds weird, but I love it. It's just unique enough. Okay, we need to figure out your nose a little bit. So, yeah, fine-tune details with big graphite blocks. You can use water, you can thin it out, and you can draw with them. So that's kind of expanding your art supply. It's also thinking about it in a different way. It's also giving it like a second life. When you use a supply in a completely different way, it's kind of refreshing it. So if you're doing a low-buy art supply or a no-buy art supply and you're super bored with the things you own and you have a lot of dry media, try adding water to them. Like you can mix charcoal in with your watercolors. There's a bunch of stuff you can do and mix and match them, and it creates like a completely different art supply. And you know, it refreshes it in your mind, and then it's fun and exciting again because it feels brand new. So, also need some fuzzy hairs. Sometimes they have fuzzy hairs that stick up. Fuzzy little fur hairs. Okay. And then I could do a branch if I wanted. So maybe we'll give him a little bit of a green branch here. This green's really wild. I love it. Don't get me wrong. I love it. It's just weird enough. All right. I know, kind of in the letters here. Yeah, I just have to remember that I'm drawing with graphite and I'm going to need spray fixative afterward to make sure it seals and sticks to the page. So I'll have to seal this down with spray fixative. I know. Isn't it funky? But I love painting it on. Like, it totally fits. Like, you could do an A6 with these huge chunky blocks and call it a day. Let's do some birds. Birds love bats. I don't know if that's true. The crows that we have in our backyard are very aggressive, and so are the hummingbirds. So they're not all out at the same time doing the same things, which is definitely a good thing, because if there were, there might be arguments. Because some of these guys are a bit more assertive and aggressive than others. We have a lot of insects. We do have a lot of mosquitoes. So they definitely have a lot of food. Our zoo has a bat house. You have to hang them. You have to hang them really, really high. They have to be facing a certain direction. You paint them a certain color for the right temperature. So if you live in a really cool climate, you want to paint yours black. There's just a lot of stuff with trying to attract them. And I think it takes a few years, but if you search online, you might be able to find like free bat house instructions. So that's definitely worth checking out if you want to have a bat house. I know like Amazon and stuff sells them. So that's something to think about if you are interested in bats. If you want the guano for gardening, certain plants like that, some plants don't. You'll have to research that. It's like composting with certain stuff. Like some of it's too rich or considered too hot for different plants, and you don't want to burn them. Okay, there's my bat baby. Things that fly. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it gave you an idea or two of what to do with certain medias that you have that may be dry. Try mixing and matching things with water. You can also like grind up portions and add a little water. If you have like gum arabic and stuff, you can treat it more like an actual watercolor pigment that sticks. But if you don't forget the spray fixative. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you have an absolutely wonderful week, and I will talk to you later. Bye.